I think it's important to advocate for the arts because people don't necessarily understand where the funding's coming from, why people want to fund, and especially how our government gets involved in the funding at the local, state, and federal levels. Running the city's arts agency, uh, we often have to go after grants to fund our programs, and we have to secure matching funds. Sometimes that means that we need the help from our municipality to help secure the ability to go after those funds. And so we need to advocate to the city, who assumes that the arts happen anyway, so that we can go ahead and attract other corporate sponsors, foundations, and grant awards with the city's support. So support letters are really important. And it's really important that the arts community understands that all of us are advocating as one together and on behalf of each other. When I moved to Maine, I had previously been a producer in the entertainment field in Los Angeles. And as a film producer and TV producer, I worked for private organizations, Paramount Pictures and NBC before that. And when I came to Maine and put on my nonprofit hat to work on behalf of the arts community there, I realized that we need to raise some funds to be able to implement programs and provide services to showcase and promote our local cultural assets and artistic talents. And so um, you're immediately put in a position of advocacy when it comes to relationship building and fundraising. I'm excited to be here in DC, especially now when Maine is at the heart of arts advocacy. We have two, crucial, essential members of Congress that are. One is the vice chair of the Cultural Caucus, and the Senate Cultural Caucus, Susan Collins, and the other is Shelley Pingree, who is the co-chair of the Congressional Arts Caucus. So this is very important that we have two members right now who represent Maine, who can understand some of our needs and be in a position to help advocate for us, because we're way off there in New England and the Northeast Kingdom, and we're a very vibrant state with a lot going on in terms of the arts and cultural life, and even important where we have a heavy influx of immigrants. We have a very rich community. We're serving a lot of underserved populations and communities, immigrants, and it's a workforce retention and recruitment vehicle. And I want to reinforce how valuable the NEA grants that we've received have been in terms of having that municipal impact through the arts. When we received an Our Town grant from the National Endowment for the Arts, uh, it was for the Creative Bus Shelter Initiative, and it allowed us to hire artists to create public art in their own backyard, essentially. And we were able to do it because it was affordable to create add-ons to existing bus shelters, as opposed to trying to do a ground-up build, of public art. And at the same time, it was spotlighting public transit. So our open calls reflected sort of the diverse communities, and our prompt was to consider the diversity of Portland economically, socially, environmentally, culturally, etc. So we were able to engage many immigrant artists, many established, emerging artists, and so forth. And it was a really cool experience to see, there we were at the ribbon cutting ceremonies at the end, and we already had the buy-in engagement of the whole community from different areas. So we didn't have kind of that normal scrutiny of, what's this? Why do these people create this? Everyone was already all in. So it's been a lot of fun. And we even got the recognition for Best Bus Stop in the USA through a national street blog competition. And Ebenezer Akapa from Ghana won that bus shelter artistic installation. We are members of American for the Arts because there are many services like the economic impact study that we're working on, AEP 6 right now, that we couldn't do without the support and infrastructure of AFTA. And we're right in the thick of it right now. Collecting the audience surveys has been quite a challenge because people don't want to stop and fill out a survey, or they don't want to interrupt the intros of these events with surveys. But I know how valuable it is for us to articulate that for every, concert ticket or showcase or performance, there also is, huge economic impact through people that are buying the parking garage tickets and restaurants and purchasing items around town and coming in sometimes in otherwise dark, um, dreary moments in the dead of winter to come in for the arts, and we're boosting the creative economy. Um, it's very valuable to see that data and to compare it and to understand. In the state of Maine, we boast 1.6 billion in expenditures and economic activity through arts and culture sector, and that surpasses the lobster industry, which is at 1.5 billion. Yet, is always the lobster industry that's mentioned as the top, industry in Maine. And um, American for the Arts helps us to articulate, to show the data, to share with others what the impact of the arts are. And we need that. We need that recognition. We can't even get our state tourism bureau to recognize the arts as a sector or as a navigation tab on the website. It's always the heritage industries or agriculture, fishing, etc. We want to get the arts in as one of the main industries and recognize Maine for the makers and for the arts impact that we have. I'm a passionate advocate of the arts, and I find it challenging even in our city at the very local level to receive the kind of support that we need for the arts. And yet the arts community is very supportive and sees our results and is excited about our public art and our creative bus shelters, our arts and culture summit that we run, our gallery programs showcasing musicians, etc. But the city doesn't give the extra funds to support those programs. There's always issues about dealing with their budget cuts and filling potholes and dealing with sort of infrastructure things, and never sort of an understanding or embracement of the arts as an engine, and understanding that the arts are revenue producing, initiatives. So that's frustrating to be here in Washington advocating on the national level for to our members of Congress who are receptive to these kind of issues, and yet on the local level, you're kind of getting a deadpan response.